I'm not going to make as much money as what I'm making now. How am I going to fund my life?
You kill, you eat. You don't kill, you starve.
Yeah. The pivotal moment was the moment that my parents split. I had nobody around me,
Well, I still have my license, so
and that's cool.
what's life look like?
Geez, advice. You're here today because of the decisions that you made.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Real Stories. I'm your host, Jordan Silvester, and today we've got Sean Baker. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going, Jordan?
Good, man. Yeah. So you're in the real estate industry. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, real estate broker. I've been in real estate since 2012. And prior to that was a property manager, and now I'm a real estate investor as well. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So when the basic entry is, so what's your story? So if you're starting out from when you were a kid, like where'd you grow up? What did you kind of do? Tell it in your own words.
I guess I'll start off with a story, and we'll go kind of present day. So yesterday, sitting on the dock, watching the sunset with my wife, and just filled with extreme gratitude of where we're at right now, and owning our dream home, dream retirement home, and reminiscing, kind of looking at, the people inside the area, and, the average age of the homeowner there is like 60, 70 years old.
Right.
And we're like, we got to do this at 41 and 36. Wow, this is incredible. So filled with emotion, filled with tears. I read a couple of days prior to that, one of my friends on Facebook, they said, we live our lives to work, save, and to one day have a retirement. And, you're not the same person that was working all those years. You may not have that same able body. And now you're going out to enjoy what you've saved for your entire life. Right. And not everybody gets a lot of time to enjoy that. And, filled with extreme gratitude that we're, able to enjoy life's gifts while we're riding the journey, and real estate's really afforded that to us. So yeah, really extremely grateful for what we've built and where we're at right now. And we'll start back, a long time ago, prior to all of this. Yeah. So rewind. I was a young kid living in the 80s. My parents were restaurateurs, so they owned a restaurant there in Chatham, and I guess I got the entrepreneurial bug from them when they were building their life. But I was not, I was an 80s kid, typical 80s kid, so wasn't really monitored. I can go out, I have my cousin, my older brother, nobody to really watch us, and got into some questionable crowds, right? Like, so the kids in my immediate area, you had a couple of them that were charged with armed robbery. A couple of them ended up in prison for attempted murder. Like, we're talking pretty hardened criminals growing up, and these were kids that I was hanging out with as,
right.
in my childhood. And could have gone down a completely different path, but thankful for my parents to, keep me grounded, making sure that, we're living having some rules and living my life, not going down that type of a path. So fast forward a little bit later, my parents got separated. My stepdad entered my life, and he was a big role model. It was the first time I've ever seen somebody that had gone to university, built a career for himself. Him and my mom opened up another restaurant, so entrepreneurial bug again, and going down that path. But they started going to, they had an opportunity to open up a business, and it was Amway. And so they started selling Amway and Amway products, and we go to these conventions, and they listen to tapes the entire way.
Gotcha.
So I guess my early on to mindset was the tapes. So it'd be Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, lots of people that have built these lives for themselves, and but the power of positive thinking and learning from those tapes growing up. If it's got to be, it's up to me. I'm gonna carve my own path. So yeah, And as I saw the pattern was either, own a restaurant and open up a restaurant. And
Yep.
I enjoyed cooking, everything else like that. So that was my path that I wanted to go down.
Right.
I was like, so how am I going to fund this restaurant? And so I saw that my stepdad, well, he did engineering, and he worked out pretty good for him. He was making a good buck and being able to provide for his family, and bought a restaurant out of it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I went to college for engineering technology, and then that switched to engineering electronics side of things. And I had no passion for it, didn't want to do it. It was all to fund the restaurant. And I got into the restaurant business a little bit, learned how to cook, was a line cook for years and years. Going to go to culinary school, and then I'm looking at all the guys that I knew that were in culinary school. They weren't making a lot of money, and they had to give up every weekend. They had to give up every evening,
Right.
long hours inside the restaurant. I didn't want to do that. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And so I started looking for other work. Well, what could I do? Right. And at the time, I had met my wife. We were in Guelph, and I was 21. She was 16 at the time, so that was kind of not everybody was too into that, but I got the blessing from her dad, so that was good, right? We ended up when she was done high school, we moved to London and started living our life together, and that was kind of trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet, and saw that factory work would be something that is going to pay well, and work hard at it, and I'll be able to float the boat, and she's going to go to school. And so we did that for a while, and eventually I ended up getting into a factory in Stratford, and it was kind of at the ground floor of the factory, so there was going to be opportunity.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'm really excited for this opportunity. So I commute from London to Stratford every day, and I did this for about 5 years, and learned every position on the line. And I could do shipping and receiving. I could fill in as the team leader. I could pretty much run any position. But every time there was opportunity that came up, there was like, no, we're not going to give it to you. We're going to pass you by and give it to somebody else. So I was getting a little bit deflated, and started kind of planning my out.
The escape.
Yeah. So planning my out. My wife, I know she had made comments in the past, like, this is not the life I want. I don't want to be doing this, continuing down this path of you just working in a factory, having no goals, nothing that you're working towards. And I didn't like it either. I didn't like the monotony of the work. It was really draining. I mean, my wife and I, we had saved up enough to buy our first home.
There you go.
Done a lot of sacrifice. Like, I mean, we sacrificed. We saw all our friends, spending their bonuses and whatnot or tax returns on trips. And she's like, no, we shouldn't do that. We should save it. Mm-hmm. And, maybe eventually we can buy a house. And so we did that and sacrificed. Awesome. And that was cool. We were a one-car family. So we didn't have two cars, even though both of us worked. We did what we could do to, commute and carpool and be able to stay within our means and get, do life with one car.
Right.
And then we had my son. My son was born in 2010.
Okay.
And that was a pivotal moment. Mm-hmm. And you become a dad, and you're like, oh man, look at life differently. And you see these kids that you have unconditional love for them the moment that they come out, and you want to be there with them all the time. And so my wife and I, we didn't have the means to be able to put our kid in daycare. So she went and did full-time days, and I was doing full-time nights. So we see each other in passing, which is not really a good lifestyle to live. If you want to have a happy household, you got to be able to see your spouse. And, we're not seeing each other, so we're fighting because we're not seeing each other. But at least, we're not shelling out all this money for daycare. And So I'm going to the factory every night, coming back every day, spending the day with my kid, and I'm seeing that one of these days he's going to go to school, and either I got to get on straight days, or every 2 weeks I'm not going to see him.
Oh, right.
And in the meantime, I'm not going to see my wife, and this is not good.
Right.
So she was going through to get out of her situation. She was going through for human resources at the time. So she got her designation for that, and human resources management. And I started looking for my out. I'm like, I got to be done. And we had a business that we tried before, so we'd done the business route.
Right.
We had a clothing business that we started. So we learned about marketing, trademarks, all of that stuff, and that didn't pan out.
Right.
That was during that whole phase of working in those 5 years in the factory. And I started looking at, well, what else could I do? And had a little bit of a passion for real estate at the time. I saw a path from my mom's side of the family that we could own rental real estate and fund a big life out of that. We just needed to get to the spot where we can actually buy an investment property.
Right. Save up enough money.
Yeah. So we're looking at, well, what could we do? And at the time, my parents, my mom's side, they owned 2 sixplexes, and my dad, he owned a student rental. And we're like, we really like the hands-off, easy thing with the student rental.
Right.
But we don't want to be landlords. We manage my mom's sixplexes, and we're like, nah, that's not us, right?
No, thank you.
No. And the one day I was contributing like 10% of whatever check I was getting to this investment, what they call a pension plan, right?
Yep.
And I get my statement for the pension plan, and I look at the statement, and I'm like, oh, and this is projected to make less money than what I'm working for now.
Oh.
Fast forward to age 65, 70 years old.
Right.
I'm not going to make as much money as what I'm making now. How am I going to fund my life?
Right.
And then I thought back to those tapes. And I'm like, if it's got to be, it's up to me. Let's figure it out. We got to get out of this situation.
Wow.
So I look at, well, what else could we do? And I'm sick of getting passed up on opportunity from work.
Right.
I need to find a different path. So commission sales. No limit to what I can make as long as I put this effort in. I put a heck of a lot of effort into what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Just continue to put this effort in and have something that I'm getting rewarded for the output that I'm doing, right? And so I'm looking at, okay, what are the different things that I like to do? And, long story short, brought me to real estate.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going down that path.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So the story is, want to be a chef, want to work in the kitchen industry, follow in the parents' footsteps. So that's what you learned as youth. See, my benefit was my dad was a realtor for most of my youth. So for real estate, it was actually me going off to try to figure out my own life for a number of years in Toronto, having it kick my rear end and send me back. I finally understood my dad wasn't as much of an idiot as I thought he was.
Yeah.
Now I have a 19-year-old, so I kind of understand how he must have felt when, you rewind. So when you're looking back as a child, so you said you hung out, you're in that neighborhood with a lot of kids that went down some other paths. What you said your parents kind of put some structure around. Can you explain more just kind of about like how that structure supported you having your older cousin, and was it your brother?
An older brother and an older cousin, and they didn't really, support me too much that way. I think it was that the pivotal moment was the moment that my parents split.
Oh, okay.
Because the entire business dissolved. So I wasn't hanging out in the neighborhood as much.
Oh.
We had moved out to the country, so I had nobody around me. I wasn't hanging out in that neighborhood anymore, and then switched schools, so I had different influences around me. And so that was, and then the structure came on because my stepdad, he was a farm boy growing up, so he had a lot of structure growing up. And, a lot around hard work and sacrifice. And, so it was kind of projected onto me as a kid.
Yeah,
and
so the work ethic part. So he brought a work ethic that you hadn't really seen until there. How old were you at that point?
Geez, I think I was 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it was 7 because my brother was born when I was 9. I think I was grade 4 at that time. So
Okay.
yeah, so around 6 or 7 years old.
Then you started to get this influence that came around you, work ethic, responsibility out in the county. So you didn't have as much opportunity to get into as much trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
So when you're considering the, okay, so we go from work ethic, all of that, and and then they reopen another restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And then you're walking down that path. So did you work in the restaurant with them at the time? Like, were you in support busing or doing anything like that?
I did on Friday nights. I would do some dishwashing and help my mom with prepping food.
Okay.
And that was the odd Friday night. It wasn't all the time. And then I didn't really hang. It was in the same neighborhood, but I didn't really hang out in the neighborhood much anymore.
Right.
I'd rather just spend the time at home.
Okay. So you went out to home, and then so you go as you finish high school. What's that next step? So you say, "Hey, I'm going to go into the business," right? So you're following the engineering path at that point, or the culinary path. I was listening to the story, but it's
yeah. So I was following the engineering path at that point. I was like,
Okay.
well, what do I go into? And that's the only thing I knew was engineering. I was kind of into. I was not really into it. It was more of I see this as a path to make money,
right.
and that was it. There was no passion behind it at all.
Money was the goal. This seemed like a good viable option
100%.
at the time. And so then you go into it, no passion, but you did have passion for the culinary, or did you find that was just the next thing? And like, did you have passion for cooking, passion to open the restaurant, or was that just the next thing because that's what your family did?
I had some passion for cooking,
Okay.
so I enjoy cooking. I still do to this day.
Okay.
Right. And I learned a lot, and I had the passion for it at that time that this is what I know, and it's a good viable option. I've watched generations of Greeks go in there and do their thing and make a living in the restaurant business.
Yep.
And then having an opportunity when I was about 18 years old to train alongside of 2 sous chefs, I learned a lot, and so that was really cool. That was at place Springfield Golf and Country Club, and so the head chef was training the 2 sous chefs, and he'd say, "Hey, Sean, come on over here and learn." And so I'd learn with them. And the one thing was that looking at those 2 guys, the guy and the girl at the time, they're both sous chefs, like they're not making a lot of money. Right. I make more money in a factory. In fact, I left the restaurant to go work in a factory part-time, made more money in the factory than they made on the line.
Wow. So
harder work, more monotonous, but
more money, which
more
was
money.
the primary goal of the young man, is how do I provide? So in this time frame though, now you've already met your wife at this point.
Yeah.
And so you guys get married. How long you've been married?
We've been married for I don't want to butcher.
Don't let her listen to this.
13 years. It'll be 14 this year. We've been 24 years together.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
So 23 years right now. But
And your son's going to be 15?
He is going to be 15 now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and we lived through life where it's like we kind of earned the right to be married. We went through all the ebbs and the flows. We always talk about we did it backwards, right? You're supposed to, get your career established, go out, get married, then get the house, then have the kid. And it's like, no. We went out, we got the house, had the kid, got married.
Right.
And it was like completely backwards, but we were always on the same page. Right. We had it figured out within 3 months whether or not we were compatible.
Oh, wow.
It was flat out like deep questions. And it was like, what do you think about this? Like, how many kids do you want to have? Do you want to send them to Catholic school? Do you want to send them to public school? Where do you want to send them? Right.
The first 3 months?
First 3 months, we were talking about deep level stuff. Right.
Wow.
And both of us have that mindset that you date people for eventually you're going to marry them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So find out, right. Rip the Band-Aid right off at the beginning so that you're not having those learning experiences later on, and on big things, knowing that you're compatible with one another, that you're seeing eye to eye. And then that way, you're not going to have that come up as an issue later on. So it was kind of weird that, at her age and, me being a young guy, that we kind of figured that out right at the beginning. right? So
Yeah, that's for you at 21. You have some life experience, but 16 is a little young to probably. It's interesting that she was thinking marriage and that was the purpose, and then you guys walk that out, and then again, look, 24 years later, it seems to have worked. It made sense, right? And
yeah,
I know marriage isn't easy. You work through life, you work with a spouse, but the cool part is when you're working together. Yes, sometimes you're going to butt heads. Yes, you're going to disagree. Welcome to life.
yeah,
But the cool part is to have somebody in your corner. You're in hers, she's in yours, and you work through those tough times and you get to the other side.
yeah.
So when you're looking at the transition from the factory, so it sounds like your wife was basically saying you need to figure something else out that's not really working well.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at that and you look at the investment, the real estate, that next push, like how did you come across with her? Like when you guys were chatting about that, like you looked at your retirement and went, man, I'm not going to have one. What did that conversation look like with your wife? How did those conversations work as you were leaving a job that of course pays a monthly guaranteed amount for the hours worked versus commission sales, which which I've known my whole life for the most part. It's you kill, you eat, you don't kill, you starve.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
We bought our first property while I was still working at the factory.
Right.
So background, my dad does mortgages he did it for 25 years.
Okay.
I'd ask him every question underneath the sun. Is this in the lines or outside of the lines, right? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I put 5% down on a house? Yeah, you can. Can I put 5% on? He goes, yeah, you can, as long as you're moving into it.
Right.
Okay, so if I was moving into the next house, can I actually put 5% down on it? Sure. So it opened up the door for our first investment property. I was like, yeah, we're moving into it. It's closer to her work.
Right.
Oh, plans changed.
Yeah.
And I didn't say that, but yeah, it was, we at the time had cashback mortgages as well.
Right.
To take higher interest rate. They're back now, but we take a higher interest rate, and you're going to put 5% down, and they're going to give you, after they pay that 5% down, they're going to give you 5% return. So I think we got 4.98% back.
Right.
Cash in our pocket. So we had done cash advance on 2 credit cards to come up with the down payment for that. Got the money back, paid off the credit cards, paid for our wedding reception the next month with it. Like we triple dipped the money that was on there.
Wow.
And had our first investment property. And I knew it would work because it was at the time near Fanshawe.
Yep.
And I think they were going for $115,000 at that time.
Okay.
Which is unheard of today. But we knew we would cash flow if we rented out by the room, $400 a month.
There you go.
And part of this was we wanted to set it up so that my wife's sister would have an option when she goes to school that we could help her out from a rent perspective.
Yep.
And be able to she'd be able to have that without having to worry about it. And if she couldn't pay the rent for some reason one month, that we don't have to worry about that, right?
Yep.
So we ended up purchasing that one, and then I was like, oh, this is cool, let's do it again. Right. And so our goal was to get 10 of them. We didn't know about appreciation at that point, nor had London appreciated in a considerable manner for years and years and years.
Right.
We back to the question you were asking, what did the transition look like?
Yeah.
So my wife was going on mat leave.
Okay.
And we took it as an opportunity, and I had now gotten my real estate license, and we had acquired that first rental.
Right.
And we were pregnant with our baby number 2.
Okay.
This 2012. And we're like, where are we going to go? Are we going to do London real estate, or are we going to take this opportunity to move back to Guelph? And we're like, well, we know more people in Guelph. Let's go there.
Okay.
And we have more family there to help us with the kids, so we're just going to move to Guelph. So we put up our place in London, our first home for rent, and had the other rental property, and then we moved into, actually my dad's place had come vacant, so we moved into that in Guelph. And I figured, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can still commute to the factory and do this full time.
Right.
And do my real estate on the side until I build it up.
Yep.
And, we know a lot more people, so it should build up pretty quick because we know more people.
Yep.
And we get there, and the first 2 weeks of commuting through Kitchener traffic was a nightmare. So I quit. And I'm like,
It's
nah,
nuts.
can't do this. Had an in to drive taxi.
Oh.
And so made the sacrifice to, I have to put money or food on the table at that point and have some sort of consistency in income.
Right.
So one thing for any realtor that's out there or just getting into the real estate business, your income stops.
Right.
You got to have income. So figure out something that you're going to make cash, or you're going to make tips. You're going to make something that you can control your time.
Right.
And you still have some steady income coming in. Otherwise, you're going to get burned. And then you're going to be doing things maybe more for the paycheck than actually advising people correctly.
Right.
So I didn't want that to come in between and me being reliant on that coming in.
Yep.
So my wife had the mat leave money coming in, which was steady. And then I started driving cab.
Okay.
And so I did that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the odd Sunday. It allowed me for real estate Monday to Friday throughout the week.
Yep.
And, be able to learn as I go. And then that, the cab was about 1.5 years that lasted.
Okay.
And, but it was really good money at the time too. So it was like $1,200 cash a week.
Wow.
Which was really good. It was actually better than my factory job.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Well, there you go.
So it was good. And then learned that in that moment that you go into this thinking that you got all these friends and family and everybody's going to support you. And then you find out that your friend bought with this person, your other friend sold with this person. You're like, why aren't they using me?
Right.
Like, well, I haven't proven myself yet. And they probably had pre-existing relationships.
Yep.
And they had a realtor that they've been using for years. And why would they use me? Right. So, but you don't think of that going in.
No.
You think I'm going to get my license and everybody's going to flock to me. And this is going to be good. And it's just going to be like printing money, but it's not. Anyway.
Right.
So I had to learn. And I was fortunate the brokerage that I was at the time let me, they taught me how to be safe, keep myself out of trouble, how to do contracts properly.
Yep.
So I learned what I needed to learn for that so I could teach others.
Right.
And then one day, I was done. 5 years into the real estate business.
You're like, no thanks.
It's done. Like, I'm gone. Like, what do I know? Factory. Going back to the factory.
Oh.
So I applied to become a line worker at Cami Automotive in Ingersoll. And we're going to move back to London. And I get a job. And they tell me, come in on this day for your orientation and physical and all that stuff. And for some reason, I fell really ill the night before, and I was violently ill. I could not get out of bed, and I got a lot of grit. Like, I could not get myself out of bed.
Wow.
I called them up. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't come in.
Right.
They're like, don't worry, we'll get you on the next one. The next one didn't happen.
Oh.
So they're not going to, there is no next orientation. I got to figure out this real estate thing.
Okay, so you got knocked back into real estate.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, you've done it for, at that time, 5 years, and you're like, this isn't working for me. Let's go back to the day-to-day operations of a paycheck. I'd rather do that, move back towards London, and then you get violently ill, knocks you off course, that opportunity goes away, and now you're standing there like, well, I still have my license, so.
Yeah, figure it out, bud. Right?
Okay.
So if it's got to be, it's up to me. You got to figure it out again, right? So I get, I look around and I'm looking for a pattern, right? And I've looked every time I find that I can see somewhere, and Tony Robbins talks about a pattern recognition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time I can look back inside my life and the decisions that I made, and it was a pattern of either positive or a pattern of negative that, made me make the decision at the time, right? So the pattern of positive, I start looking for, okay, so who's doing what inside real estate? And what I was looking for and what I found were two different things. I was looking for which real estate company or team is servicing both London and Kitchener-Waterloo.
Okay.
Because the way that the brokerages worked, I needed to be with a brokerage that serviced both.
Right.
Because they would have been members to both boards.
Right.
And so I found this, during my search, these Keller Williams teams.
Right.
And the pattern was every Keller Williams team was doing over 100 deals. And I'm like, these guys are just freaking crushing it.
Yep.
And then I found this team out of London that was doing 100 plus deals, and they serviced both Kitchener-Waterloo and London.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go hang out with these guys and find out what's up and maybe go down the team route. I haven't gone down the team route before. Met up with this guy. It was Matt Santagapita out of London.
Yep.
And he opened up Pandora's box. Excuse me. He opened up Pandora's box for me. And it was, I'd gone through 5 years of learning how to keep myself out of RICO jail. But I'd never learned how to build a business. I never learned how to lead gen properly. I'd never learned how to follow up with people, how to run a CRM, anything like that. And he's like, Sean, are you doing this in your business? I'm like, no. Well, we do this. Sean, are you doing this in your business? No. Well, we do this. I'm like, Matt, why are you sharing all this stuff with me? He goes, I really want you to succeed, and that's fine. Whether you join my team or you don't.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this guy's different. And the entire thing is different. So I joined his team.
Okay.
And I found out that they were in the midst of leaving Keller Williams to go to Remax at the time. And I still stuck with them because I really dug the vibe of his team. And we were planning on moving back to London regardless of the whole situation.
Right.
And my wife, I joined the team. I learned a lot from the team. It was a short amount of time. I was only there from, I think, January until March.
Okay.
But what had happened in the meantime, my wife had a car accident, so she had a concussion. And she was going through a litigation. And the lawyer said, do not move back to London.
Oh.
You need to stay where you're at until this is all done.
Wow.
And so talked to Matt, and I'm like, hey, we can't move back to London.
Right.
So I have to leave the team. It's not going to happen. I can't be doing both. I can't be in London the entire time.
Right.
And spending too much time away from my family. I got to figure it out.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, so now I got to figure out which brokerage I'm going to go to because I didn't have, I wasn't, am I going to go back to my old brokerage? Nah, I don't know. Maybe I should try this Keller Williams thing.
Okay.
And so I went to Keller Williams. I named Matt as my sponsor, even though he wasn't part of Keller Williams anymore. He was the one that was influential to me, right? So, but I got into Keller Williams, and the vibe was just completely different.
Oh, okay.
And learned so much. And it was like I said, like Pandora's box was opened up. The culture was different. It was a learning culture.
Right.
Everybody was there to lend a hand. You can ask anybody. I had conversations with people that were number 1, 2 in the world.
Right.
And that was phenomenal. And then I started getting surrounded by different people.
Right.
And, Tony Robbins, once again, he talks about proximity is power. And what he means by that is that proximity to the right people is powerful. It's going to give you a different standard inside your life.
Right.
And the people that I was hanging out with had completely different standards.
Right.
And that year that I moved over, I had my best year in real estate. Did 14 deals in real estate that year. And, I had never done double digits before.
Right.
I was always sticking around 5 or 6 ends. That year, more than doubled my business. And the following year, I think it was maybe that year or the following year, I got into Keller Williams Young Professionals.
Okay.
And that's where we met each other.
That is where we met, yeah.
So
YP.
YP, yeah. So Keller Williams Young Professionals. I'm like, am I going to join this thing? I don't know. But they came through the brokerage the one time, and I'm 39 at the time.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm going to age out of this thing. But if I sign up for it now, then I can stay in it past 40 years old.
Right.
And that's cool, right? So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm signing up, right? Yeah. And I just sign up for it and don't know who the people are, don't know anything. And I start, some of my, good friends and mentors are from that community. And they just saw business and life at a different level. And that was the network that just surrounded myself with and pushed me. And so much gratitude to those people.
Yeah, it's funny because my next question was going to come back to that because that was how you started the conversation. So it's interesting is you said you're sitting on the dock and just being grateful with your wife about where you are in life today.
Yeah.
And you're just chatting there about the cloud of witnesses, these people who've been around you, and this cool opportunity to look back at life through the lens of, like you said, who I surrounded myself with. As I changed that, my life changed too.
Yeah.
And that's something I've learned in my own life. It's like, again, as we walk this thing out and we keep looking to the future, it's like, okay, so where am I going next, and who's already doing what I want to be doing, or who's in that field, and how can I go and talk to them? What I found most interesting, like you mentioned earlier, these top guys love to share their ideas.
Yeah.
Because they know this simple truth. A, there's abundance. B, most people will never do it anyway.
Yeah.
One of the greatest mistakes is all the knowledge is there now. Everyone has access, yet few of us actually take the step, take the leap, do the requirement, because it's a work ethic that you learned that actually gave you access to the information, then what to do with it.
Right.
So that's a really, like, when I look at that gratitude piece, it's like you have this line running through and you can't see it until you put the picture together. It's like, wait, so this plus this plus this experience, these hard times, these strong times, all of them bring you around to where you're today. So if you're looking at over it all and you look at it from the gratitude scale, who are the people you would say that if you were to be like, you know what, these are the few people that I would say are like my mentors / these people that when I think about that, these are the people I'm most grateful that showed up in my life, even if it was just for a time, for a moment.
Oh, geez, that's a pretty powerful question. Yeah. I'd say first, my parents. They were my and I would say specifically, my mom and my stepdad used to be our sounding board.
Okay.
And they'd always root for our wins, help us navigate challenges. My dad did as well. But I can remember just us sitting around, having powwows and, planning out life together.
That's awesome.
And that was cool. So they've always been our guides there. Specifically inside my life, Dylan Suter.
Okay.
He's my wife and I, every time that we get the opportunity to thank him, we thank him. I'll share a quick little story about Dylan. I remember us standing around. There was like my friend Dylan, my friend Sandy, and a couple of us were looking at the Keller Williams standings, right?
Yeah.
And he's scrolling through his phone, looking at the standings. Oh, you're top 50, you're this, you're that, and because you can see everybody's income where they're at, right?
Yep.
And he goes, "Where are you, Sean?" And I'm like, "You're gonna have to keep scrolling." And he's scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, "Keep scrolling." And he's scrolling. He's like, "Oh, you're at here." He goes, "Oh, I would have pegged you for higher." And at the time, I wasn't of an abundance mindset at that point, and I'm like, "Is he mocking me? Right?
Oh,
is he making fun of me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Man, I'll show you. I'll get there." Right? But looking back on it, and I'm like, and they talk about the people, the average of the 5 people. You want the people that are going to push you, and typically these people are holding you to they hold you to a higher standard,
right?
And the standard at that moment that he perceived me as was higher than where I was performing. So I was vibrating at a different frequency. He could feel the vibration at a different frequency. And he's like, "Oh, I thought you were much higher than that." Right? So it was a compliment. It was not a dig. This guy held me at a higher regard, and he always has. And, I'm very, very appreciative for him coming into my life. Yeah. The biggest pivotal thing that he did was introduce us to Tony Robbins.
Gotcha.
So it was 90 people, got them all to come to Florida. And he influenced that. And it set us down a path of personal growth that we are forever grateful for. And we've been able to now pass it to our kids as well. So, yeah.
The legacy factor.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we've learned so much. And now that's kind of the next step in the journey is the personal growth side of things and, being able to help others and being able to mentor others to achieve the best version of themselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Dylan came to Windsor as well and launched the YP thing. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll sign up. I was, I think, a little bit younger than you at the time, But again, I just jumped in because I'm like, why not? I wanted to learn YP. I had to drive most of the time. We very rarely did anything this far down. I was 2-3 hours trying to get a few people, drive up and hang out. But it was to come up and hang out with guys like you, Andre Chin, Dylan Suter. Like it's such an interesting community. And there's an aspect of COVID that just sucked because again, we were growing, we were all in it together. Then all of a sudden it hits and it's just everything changed. Everything went online.
Yeah.
And again, you look at life and you can see it in your own where there's these moments. It's like, well, this knocked me off that course and it pushed me into this other life.
Right.
And you're like, why couldn't that have, like, if you got that other job, if all of a sudden you weren't sick and you went, what's life look like? Where are you today? And I'm not saying a what if in the negative, because sometimes like, you never know, but it's interesting because you're like, man, it was something came alongside me. Something showed up. There's people who show up. Why did Dylan, like, how did Gary get a hold of Dylan, put him into that position of leadership, send him out and come and rally all of us up? And again, that's why we're having a conversation today. So it's really cool to see how, again, the decisions that are made throughout our life and where we intersect and how we are able to get involved with each other, chat about real life, engage. That's the cool part I like about Keller Williams and about community type real estate is we're in each other's worlds.
Yeah.
It's not just questions about real estate that we'll answer. It's like, hey, what, like life questions, you're in trouble. Like I love the fact that in these brokerages that we're with and the attitudes, it's always about sharing opportunities, sharing experiences. And that's really, again, I've always been that mindset. For me, I want to learn and I want to ask questions, but you fear, like, why would you talk to me? Why would these people talk to me? Look at where they're at. Look at where I am. But yet one thing I'd want people to know, ask us, ask anybody. It doesn't matter what they're up to. If you want to do the things they're doing, go talk to them.
Yeah.
Most people are normal. Yeah, sure. You're going to run into the average, the random person who isn't. That's fine. Just take it as a no, but don't stop asking questions.
No.
When you look at now and you say, I want to impact, I want to create this thing. I'm using my kids, my leverage. These are the things I'm going to use, the tools that I've learned. What does that look like?
I think what it looks like is mentoring others.
Okay.
Really, I know my wife right now, she's going down the path of life coaching.
Okay.
I'm similar to that. I want to go down the path of life coach and business coach. And really my main person that I want to help right now is the newer struggling agent.
Okay.
Because I've been there. I've walked the path. I know what it looks like. And a lot of the stuff that you need to learn is more mindset than the tools that you're looking for this magic pill. Yeah, there's the odd tool that's going to help you.
Sure.
But it's the mindset that you need to be able to, overcome, that's going to be able to help you in your journey to get to the next step inside whatever you're going for, right? So
cool, man.
So that's truly where I guess my passion is lying right now is more into that and mentoring and growing, helping people grow.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So if you could leave everybody with one piece of advice, I assume it might be gratitude or something else, but what would you, if you're talking to that new age and you're talking to these young people, you're saying, hey, what advice would you give to somebody who's somewhere between the ages of 18 and 22?
18 and 22.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Advice. I would say, I'll step back for a moment. The whole thing around the choices that we make and everything in life is guided. You're here today because of the decisions that you made, and right or wrong at the time, it's serving for you. Life is happening for you. And you have to look back in those patterns that have happened over the years and the pivotal moments that have led you to where you are right now. If this didn't happen, I wouldn't have done this. If my parents didn't move to England when I was 17 years old, I would have never met my wife. I never would have moved to Guelph. Right. So it is so many different things that stack up, and life is always happening for you. Figure out where it's happening for you inside that moment, and take a moment to just know that this is a moment in time. Take a deep breath. Understand, well, what is the next target? What am I moving towards? And move towards it. Come up with your plan.
That's awesome, man. So if people are looking to reach out to you, if they're trying to get in connection with you, whether that's real estate, investing, life experience, life coach, where would they reach you?
It'll make it really easy for you. Just Sean Baker _realtor on Instagram. Probably
Okay.
the best spot to reach out to me, or email me, Sean SEAN at empowerrealtypartners.com. Happy to connect.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Sean, for coming on the show. Hey, guys, it's been another Real Story with Sean Baker. We're looking forward to the future stories if he wants to come back on and let us know how the next few years play out. Thanks again for watching.